Every good science fiction show needs a good spacesuit design, and Doctor Who is no exception. If you're an avid viewer of the show's revived era, you'll know that there's one particular suit that's cropped up again and again and again, often in the places where you'd least expect it to be. The infamous orange spacesuit. This distinctive design originates in the series' two-parter, The Impossible Planet and The Satan Pit. The script required spacesuits to be worn by the 10th Doctor and Sanctuary Base 6 crew member Ida Scott for their descent into the cavern underneath the surface of Krop Tor. In the book Doctor Who The Inside Story, costume designer Louise Page recalled that she had initially intended to make these spacesuits big and white and chunky, in the style of those used by NASA for the Apollo missions, but Russell T Davies was keen for them to be orange, as he felt this colour would stand out much better, especially against the backdrops of dark, damp caves. The finished design was in fact inspired by another of NASA's spacesuits, one used for space shuttle missions. In this real-world scenario too, the particular shade of orange, officially known as International Orange, was chosen for its visibility. Meanwhile, modified motorbike helmets were used for the suit helmets, which were yellow to tie into the colour scheme of the Sanctuary Base 6 set design. At the very end of the story, the Doctor is seen wearing his spacesuit in the TARDIS, which suggests that he intends to keep it in the TARDIS Wardrobe, possibly for use in further adventures. David Tennant was again required to wear a spacesuit in the 2007 story 42, and so it made sense to the production team to reuse the costume that had already been made for him the previous year. To make it unique to this episode, the suit was dyed a dark red, in keeping with the design of the SS Pentalion's interiors, and a new neckpiece was added. The helmet was also painted in this dark red colour. The original suit made a surprise reappearance in the 2009 adventure The Waters of Mars, worn by the Doctor at the start and end of the story as he explores the surface of the Red Planet. It made sense to reuse this iconic costume in one of the 10th Doctor's final stories, and also one with a similarly futuristic setting. For a time, it seemed like this was the last we'd seen of the orange spacesuit, but it couldn't help rearing its head again in 2013 for the show's 50th anniversary season, to be worn by the 11th Doctor in Hyde. Now, whether or not this suit is exactly the same one from Sanctuary Base 6 is up for debate, as it's missing the Sanctuary Base 6 badge and also the black straps. Curiously, these details were reinstated for the suit's next appearance in the 2014 story Listen, when it was worn not by the Doctor, but by Danny Pink's descendant, Orson. How exactly Orson got hold of a Sanctuary Base 6 spacesuit was never quite explained, one of the many unsolved mysteries from this fascinating story. From a behind-the-scenes point of view, there are two possible explanations. Either the insignia was left on by mistake and is a production error, which I think is unlikely given its absence in previous stories, or that it was put back on deliberately to confuse fans who really should get out more rather than worrying about continuity. Just a few episodes later, Kill the Moon featured not one, not two, but 3 orange spacesuits, the most seen on screen at any one time. In addition to the 12th Doctor, both Clara and her pupil Courtney had suits to wear to allow them to traverse the surface of the moon. Presumably, these were added to the TARDIS Wardrobe in a previous, unseen adventure. The suit's last appearance to date came in 2015's The Girl Who Died, in which it was worn by Clara, who hadn't had time to change out of it following her previous adventure with the Doctor. Although this might seem like a slightly random plot element, it is in fact crucial to the story's climax. Components of the suit are used to magnify the electrical charge created by the electric eels, which in turn brings about the demise of the Maya. This costume has been represented fairly well in figure form too. Character Options released a 5-inch figure of the 10th Doctor in his orange spacesuit as part of their Series 2 range, as well as a figure of him in his SS Pentalion spacesuit in their Series 3 range. Many fans have since cannibalised these figures and stuck on an 11th Doctor or 12th Doctor head to make custom figures. In addition to these, a smaller 3.75-inch figure of the 12th Doctor in his spacesuit was released by character in 2015. It's tempting to imagine what the 13th Doctor, and the rest of Team TARDIS for that matter, might look like in this attire, But with a new showrunner now in charge, something tells me that we might have seen the last of the orange spacesuit. Still, who knows? Perhaps it'll make another surprise appearance one day. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know your thoughts on this rather iconic piece of costume design in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon for some more Doctor Who videos. Goodbye for now, guys.